East of Taylor, Steve Hubnik has to worry about sticking his John Deere Gator while making the rounds on his pastures. Old cracked work boots have been traded in for those watertight and made of rubber. His tanks were crusted craters and mud hole death traps for his cattle just a year ago. Today, they overflow with plenty.
The grass, although it's minute in size, is here for the cattle to think they have a lot of grazing. Everything looks much more promising.
Hubnik's cattle are easily viewed grazing the dips and rises of his land. The once sproutless wheat fields today blanket the plains of central Texas. David Kraft walked a barren wasteland on his family's New Braunfels farm. Nothing would grow, not even weeds. Rain this past winter has transformed the parched plains into an oasis. Lush green oats have sprouted, and with them, a new sense of optimism.
We've been fortunate this year, and we've got some moisture, and everything's looking good to where we can maybe actually make a crop.
The family farm has bared the Kraft name since 1895. Last year was the first time in history crops didn't make it to harvest. Kraft's neighbor, Corvin Chrysler, knew all too well the fate of the seed he sowed. The end result was nothing more than an insurance check arriving in the mailbox. It's not the vision farmers such as he has when it comes to dreams of living off the land. Today, working his corn into the ground, he knows this year's final chapter will pen a new ending. The seed will sprout.
We'd rather have a crop. We'd rather have the grass instead of hay. We'd rather have the moisture instead of the dryness.
In Marble Falls, a sigh of relief can be detected through the Burnham brothers' return swagger. The family legacy, established in 1852, survived with the cattle herd intact.
Selling out is that's the last resort for us, because we're ranchers at heart, and that's our life.
All the Burnhams' cattle were raised on the ranch by hand. The family has experienced and persevered through tough times before. However, 2009 brought with it the biggest blow. The Burnhams turned to a nuisance to sustain their cattle, prickly pear cactus. Armed with a propane tank and blowtorch, the elder gentleman set out in the blazing Texas sun, scorching the spines with each pass. The plan worked, but food was only half the battle.
Water was the issue. We were scrambling, and everybody was scrambling. A lot of people had to sell because there was no water.
A few spotty showers in May helped the herd survive the blistering summer. However, the situation remained desperate.
We could have maybe gone another 30 to 60 days, and that would have been it. There was no hay. We were out of pears. We were out of water. It was just about over for us.
Then the showers fell. Tanks filled. Winter weeds and grasses seemed to jump out of the ground. Supplemental feeding remains a daily chore as calves continue to hit the ground. The rattle and clank of the feeder trailer's door signals the morning feast. Thankfully, it will soon joy the pear burners.
Well, we put those old pear burners up and probably going to put them in a museum one of these days, because I think we're done with that for a long time. Hopefully won't ever have to do it again.
At the Hallettsville Livestock Commission, the thought of folding the tents and packing up have passed, and just in the nick of time.
One more year of that, it would have been over with. I mean, we would have just been completely out of the cattle business, really. It was that bad.
Cattle were arriving by the trailer loads, 2,600 to 2,800 sold on sale day every week, a surefire sign of but one thing: liquidation. Today, restocking specials are being held for the first time in years, but prices have rose and cash is in short supply, as cattlemen overspent on hay and feed while taking a cut on income.
We'll start replacing some numbers, but it won't be done in 1 year. It'll take 2 or 3 years to get our numbers back where they were. It's not a short-term deal. It's still going to take some time.
As seen through the faces of those who stake their livelihoods on the furrows and pastures of Texas, there's a renewed optimism. Droughts are nothing new. However, 2009 was exceptional in many parts of Texas.
I think it's going to be a drought record for a long time, hopefully. Hopefully we won't have to go through anything like that again.
Farmers and ranchers persevered, clinging to one certainty. Each day brought them closer to the rain they hoped for with desperation. The opposite rings true today.
Everybody says, oh, it's going to be a good year. Well, it's not done yet. And I mean, the last rain we got might be the last one we'll get. You never know.
The drought didn't happen overnight, and the same can be said for the road to recovery. Producers are on the mend and have but one trait to carry them through: determination. For Voices of Agriculture, Matt Felder, Texas.